everyone, welcome back, and it is day 20 of the Mixed Media March 25 challenge run by Ceri Griffiths. And as you can see, I've been playing with my circle punch today, and I've been using up a lot of my gel print scraps, because one of my aims with this challenge is to not to have too much left over in terms of scraps at the end. I know that some are inevitable, but anyway, been trying to use them up as I go. So I have a hole punch which is 2.5 centimetres, so it's an inch, and I've been using my hole punch today, as you can see, and I've punched out lots of circles. Now, my idea is to create this sort of gradiated rainbow effect, and I've deliberately picked scraps with the different colours in them. Now, and I've been laying them out here just to see if my idea will work. My slight issue, as you can see, is that I've been working in a mini journal, which this was a kind of a free journal that I created from an old mailer, and I've been using this. But so my slight problem, as you can see, is that as I've laid these out, it's much bigger than my journal page. So I'm going to work around that. But this is where I'm going to go today, and I'm going to be layering and sticking these to make just a pretty pattern, really. That's all there is to it. And it's a great way of using up some scraps, as I say. I might try and find a focal point to go on there, or a sentiment or something. I'll see how it goes. I've got to figure out how to get this into my journal next. But that's what I'll be doing today. So sit back, relax, watch along, and hopefully enjoy. Right. What I've done, I found a scrap piece of card, and I've cut this to 3.5 inches, which is really the widest that I can go across here. My page is slightly wider, but my journal is getting quite fat. And as I say, this was just this was made from an old mailer that came, you know, a junk mailer magazine. And I'll put a link up in the top corner to how I made it. And I've not done this before, so it's a bit of an experiment to see how this would hold up to being filled as a journal. And it's not doing too bad, but I have this sort of curve here, which for this purpose I can't really stick the cardboard round that curve. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint this bit, or I'll put a piece of decorative washi tape down. But for my circles, I've cut this card, and obviously this is much longer. In fact, it's probably more than twice the length of my page. And I'm not going to use the whole thing, but I am going to stick on the circles that I've cut out. So roughly as I've got them laid out here, I'm going to be layering them onto this piece of card. And then I will see how I go. At this point in time, I'm thinking I may just cut it off and pick the bit that I want to go in my journal. I may do some kind of flip down or flip up with the circles in, so you know, like this, but I'll see. So this is a fairly sturdy piece of card. As I said, it's just an offcut, so I couldn't tell you what the weight of it is, but so that's what I'm going to be doing. Now, you're going to be bored to death watching me stick all these on. So I'm going to show you the first sort of 2 or 3 rows, just so that you get an idea of how I'm doing it. And then I'm just going to turn the video off, because as I say, I really don't want to bore you to death by watching me cut and stick circles onto a piece of card. Right. But I will show you, as I say, the first row or 2, just so that you can get an idea of what I'm doing. Ooh, probably shouldn't have done that. Okay, never mind. Still. So I've cut at least 5 in each colour. Now some have got little dings in the edges, and that's okay because we're just going to be overlapping them. And the first row, I am going to overlap off this edge slightly. I'm going to hang them off the edge so that I can cut a straight edge once I'm done. Now some of these have got gold on, so I'm just going to mix them up a bit, just so that we don't get all the same in one place. There we go. And really it's as simple as that. I am going to get the good old book pages out so that I can glue on there and not get too sticky. Can you see that? Yes, you can. Right. So how's everybody going with this challenge? I'm just loving it. It's really stretching me, I have to say. And it's a busy time of year for us work-wise, so I'm pretty tired as well. But just getting up into my craft room every day and creating is amazing. And I think it's been stretching me a little bit, because the last couple of challenges I've done have been ones where you've had prompts each day, and of course this one doesn't, and so I found that quite difficult to adjust to. Actually, it's sort of like, oh, tell me what I've got to do, rather than being creative. Right, so there's my first row. Now when you do your second row, what you have to do is to put the circles, so offset them, I think that's the right word. Now I want to do this one so that it goes under there. And obviously there's going to be some bits cut off, and I don't know, I may find that I need to cut a piece off here and put it on here. I will see. But if you can see, I'm offsetting, so the centre of this circle is where the join is. So it's a bit like what do you say, fish scales. Yeah. Now what I'm going to need to do is to cut this off and put it here. And I think I'm going, oh, do I do that now? Do I do it afterwards? No, I'm going to need to do that now. So if you're doing this, it helps to have an extra couple of circles. See, that bit's going to need to go there like that. Now most of this is actually more of a card, but most of this is on, these gel prints are on paper, so I'm figuring that my good old glue stick will be enough. Right, I'm going to do one more row, just so you get the idea, and then I won't make you suffer anymore. Once you get going with this, it's actually quite a meditative process. And there's no real right or wrong, because you just do what pleases you, really. So don't like that white bit too much, but that is going to be, it's most of it is hanging off the edge, which is fine. Right. Oh, I need a bit of plastic under that. I'm going to carry on, and I will come back and show you once I've stuck all the rest on. Alrighty, so that's done and it's dry. So as you can see, it turned out quite long in the end. In fact, it's It's about 9 inches long. And my book's 5, so I'm going to have to think about that. But it's just about dry now, so I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to cut down all these sides. And then I will have a think about how I'm going to put this into my journal and whether I'm going to put a focal point on there. So I've cut that off and I'm having a think, and I'm thinking I might do something like this. I'm thinking about that element of surprise, so sort of keeping the outside quite plain and doing this as a flip down and sort of opening up to this sort of you know, wonderful bright colours. What I'm thinking about is, because that will just about fit on that page nicely, is whether to cut this piece off or whether to make this a flap over with a little closure here so that it opens right up to this sort of, as I say, this sort of amazing colourful inside. I'm going to have a think. In the meantime, I'm going to just put a little black border around here with some acrylic paint so that that gets a chance to dry before I stick this on, and depending on what I decide to do. Alright, so what I've realised is that putting a second closure on like that is not going to work, because the split pen will go through to the gel prints that we've just spent quite a lot of time doing. So I'm just going to put one of these circles on with a split pen, because that will just go through to the flap, and then I will do this cotton, well, it's not cotton, it's gold thread, so that it starts. Now I'm just thinking how to do this, because this is going to be stuck down yet, so I'll have the thread here and we'll just wind it round. It will I will make it work. It will work. Right, so I'm going to attach that there. I'm going to keep the outside quite plain. Now I found this, always be on the lookout for the presence of wonder, and I think that's quite cool. And I've got a bit of gold, it's thin card actually, that's on my desk from the other day. I was using it, and I'm just simply going to put that little quote on here, and I'm going to ink the edges, and then that will be about it. And it is all about the wonder of opening up and seeing what's inside. So let's get this finished off.